Yo, what's going on, YouTube? This is the real awkward part where we're just kind of hanging around waiting for things to start. So bum 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 bum. So we're on a 25-second lag, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, such is live streaming. What's up? G Kenny is in there. Oh, hang on. Let me turn these down. Let me turn these down. Ah, I didn't know I'd enable subtitles. They're gone now. Anybody? Oh, it's on my feed, not your feed. Yeah. Anyway, so we are now live. Let me throw something out on the old social. Hey, Dave, what's going on? I am good, Dave. How are you? Let me know. Right, okay. Let me type this in. We are live right now on the tube of you. Come shoot the breeze. Boom. Okay, right. So, what's going on? Where's everybody at? G Kenny, I know where you're at, but I forget. Dave, I have no idea where you're at. As always, we like to see where the person that's furthest away is. But yeah, so I'm presuming everybody can hear me, everybody can see me, things are looking good. So there's a bunch of you guys watching. McAvoy Production, hey Vic, how's you keeping? I am doing good, Will. How are you? Probably working too much, says Dave. I know the feeling, I know the feeling, I know that it's all work, it's all work. Yeah, it's all about the money. So, if you're new, if you're just watching, if you're new, one of the things I'm going to talk about on this live stream is, can a pro camera make you a better creator? Had an interesting comment on one of the videos, and it kind of got me thinking just a little bit. And let me see, can I bring up the comment? And it was from Derike1 was the name of the comment, and I'm going to get to that momentarily, but obviously to explain how the live stream works, throw some stuff in there, let's get a conversation going. It's an open house, so it'll kind of answer and get involved in any kinds of conversations. Obviously we do a lot of tech and camera and filmmaking stuff here, and GoPros and Osmo Pockets and Sony RX100s and Sony A6, all that kind of stuff. So get in there if you need help. Maybe I can offer some kind of help, as it were. But I won't know, or I can't, unless you actually just stick something in the comment box. Okay, so Dave is in Medina, Ohio. Were you here the last time, Dave? Did we do some Ohio Roman Atwood thing? G. Kenny is in Kildare. All right, my man, just up the road. Barry is in Buffalo, New York. The Imp1 is in sunny Birmingham, UK. I guess it's as sunny in Birmingham as it is here, right? I'm in Cork, Ireland, for anybody that is wondering. So we're going to talk about pro camera. Does it make you, pro tools, essentially, like a big fancy camera like a Red or something like a Panasonic S1H, which is a little bit more affordable than Red. And that make you a better creator, and all the other stuff as well. So whatever you got, throw it into the chat box. We're only live on YouTube. We're not live anywhere else. And let's get the conversation going. And people have been sending in a few questions and stuff like that. So I'm going to get to those first, and then we get to the pro camera stuff. And we just, for anybody that's new to the stream, kind of stay here until it's done. Generally, we kind of stay for an hour at least. So the more stuff you throw at me, the longer we can stay here. I'd love to do a 24-hour stream, just for, I don't know, just for insanity. Like start at Monday 9 a.m. and then go till the following, 24 hours later, Tuesday 9 a.m. I wonder what would happen. All right, so. Ryan, is a color grade important, or do people care? What I would suggest is, when it comes to color grading, unless you're doing it right, so do it right, and people will go, oh, it looks good in their own mind. Some people won't know the difference. If you do it bad, however, it will really stand out when it comes to color grading. It's an art. I mean, it's a dedicated job. A colorist, as it were. So keep that in mind. It's a good thing to learn, because basic stuff like white balance. So make sure that your picture is kind of, balanced correctly. Now you can do that in post, but you can also do it in your camera. So if it's a sunny day, set the white balance to sunny day. It just makes things that little bit easier. Now, depending on who your audience is, here's the thing to keep in mind. So if you were making, I don't know, maybe your family vlog channel, okay, or maybe you're doing like, does your audience really care about color graded stuff? You look at somebody like Matty Hapuyi or Peter McKinnon, their stuff is really well graded. Sam Colder stuff is really well graded. If you look at their stuff, if they didn't grade it, it probably wouldn't have the same impact. But it's probably not for everybody. It's a time consuming thing as well, and it is an art. Use your scopes. But depending on the audience, I don't think people care. How many people in your audience are watching on a phone? Look at your YouTube analytics. If there's a lot of them, will they really notice the difference on a small phone? If they're watching on a TV or something bigger, yeah, but keep that in mind. So it really depends on your audience. If your audience are, kids, I'm sure there's one or two of them would care, but probably a lot of them don't. Okay. Paul, how do I become a better editor? Put in the reps. Simply put in the reps when it comes to editing. The more you do it, the better you get. Now, that said, it's something that you need to be actively engaged in trying to improve. So yeah, you can you can learn, we'll say if you're using Premiere or Final Cut or Vegas or whatever, you can learn the commands, in a weekend essentially. That's one step of it. So knowing where everything is and what everything is called, that's one step. Know the software. That's the first step on becoming a better editor. But most importantly, learn when to cut, learn what to cut. And that comes with practice. And that comes with you trying to cut out more stuff and looking at things as an exercise. There's a whole ton of books out there on editing. Let me see, I have a list here, I think. And some are great, some are not. Probably the best one that I could recommend is the Walter Murch one, In the Blink of an Eye. It kind of gives a good insight into it. But look at how other people edit. Obviously, you guys are probably watching a whole bunch of YouTubers, and look how they edit. Take inspiration from how they edit, but just knowing when to cut is the huge thing, and how your story is structured, right? That's a big deal. Okay. Okay, let me jump in here real quick. McAvoy Production. What do you think of the coronavirus going around? I was told 8 people in Ireland got it. St. Patrick's Day parade in Dublin might be cancelled. It's Corona time. I don't really have an opinion on the coronavirus. I'm not locking myself into the cupboard, wardrobe, bathroom. I'm not afraid of it. Say that in a week's time, it'll probably kill me. I guess if you're very young, or if you had an underlying health condition and you're pushing on in years, it's probably an issue. Obviously it's sad if people are dying from it, but I don't know. I don't really have an opinion, Will. Sorry. It's not really, bothering me in any capacity yet. I say that now, but yeah. I mean, I've got a flu and I've got a cold. I think I'm in okay shape. Maybe I can take this on. Don't tempt fate, Vic. Don't tempt fate. Don't tempt it. Coronavirus is like, I'm at your door. What did you say in that live stream? 80, Amran? 80? What's going on, 80? Where are you at? Let me know. And any questions, whether it's tech, camera, filmmaking, editing, all that kind of stuff, get it into the chat box. Janet, how do you put together a story, shot lists, etc.? Okay. So I guess the first thing is number one, think of the video. Oh, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Awesome. So we've got Buffalo, New York, we've got Birmingham, we've got Medina in Ohio, and we've got Malaysia. And then in the middle of it all, we've got Kildare in Ireland. That's a pretty insane audience to have. Thank you so much for taking some time out, by the way, to hang out here this evening. So get some value for yourself, get some opinions, get some thoughts, get them into the chat box, and I'll get to them ASAP. Okay, so story and shot lists and all that kind of thing. So if you're making blogs, if you're making anything, you need, number one, you need to come up with an idea. You need a beginning and a middle and an end. It doesn't have to be once upon a time. It doesn't have to be that kind of story, but it has to have some kind of structure to it. It does really need a beginning, middle, and end. Eddie. All right, Eddie. Gotcha. Thanks, Eddie. Ed. So once you come up with the idea for the video and you get some kind of story structure going around it, I generally kind of make a shot list of what I need. So if it's talking head thing, do I need 2 angles? Do I need a front on one? Maybe I need one from the side. Maybe I need one from this side. What B-roll do I need? If it's just a talking head, or if it's an out and about video, or if it's some other kind of test, we'll just make a shot list of everything that you need and then have a rethink over it and add some more stuff into it. So that's generally the kind of the basics. I use Teamwork Projects. There's a video on that recently as well. I use that for a shot list if I'm out and about. I use that in the professional world as well as the YouTube world. So if doing a testimonial, I'll have a very good idea of a whole bunch of shots that I would need to get. And obviously that can change when you're on set somewhere, but for the most part, that's what I do. And it's all about making better stories, really, as we'll hear a little bit more as we go on. Eddie is using a GoPro Hero 4, one of the OGs, the GoPro Hero 4. Worth it or not? Hey, what's going on? Worth it or not? Thanks for dropping by the stream. Where are you? Yeah. We're a pretty wide audience this evening around the globe, which is absolutely awesome. So thank you again for tuning in. So how do you put together a story? I don't know if I answered that. Come back to me and let me know. But again, you need a beginning, a middle, and an end in a really kind of a crowbar in here. You've the hero's journey. So the stereotypical hero's journey is that you're introduced to a character, they go through something traumatic, they have a transformation, and then at the end is, yay, everything is great, and the hero has gone through a transformation. It's kind of crowbarred in. Hero's journey. It's very important, and you can kind of apply it to everything. If it's a story about I'm going to the store, why are you going to the store? And what happens in the store, and what happens after you come out of the store. So, that's at a real basic level. Worth it or not is in Texas. One of my favorite places in the world is the whole state of Texas. I really want to go back there ASAP. For 2 reasons: barbecue and the people. Spent some time in Dallas, spent some time in Fort Worth, and just, New York is one of my favorite places in the world until I went to Texas, until I went to Dallas and I went to Fort Worth. So yeah. I would now go on a flight to Texas before we go on a flight to New York. Eddie says, good explanation in every of your vids. Awesome, Eddie. Hopefully, you've learned something or been able to help in some capacity, because that's what we're all about, trying to help you guys make better content and make better decisions around content creation. Eddie says the difficult part is editing. I suppose if we just jump back to the earlier thing, keep doing it, Eddie. Keep doing the editing. That book that I suggested, In the Blink of an Eye, look at some of your favorite YouTubers, see where they caught you. You got to know when to shut up, okay? And I guess one of the main things is that you can shoot for the edit as well. So that obviously means that you've thought of what you're going to shoot. Michael Bay, small guy, made crappy movies like Transformers and stuff like that. He shoots for the edit. So it's called in-camera editing is the other side of it. So literally, okay, I'm in this area, I'm in the woods, I need 5 shots in the woods. I need a low-down shot, I need a drone shot, I need this shot, I need the bear chasing me shot. You have your shot list going in, and you shoot more or less what you need. So when you come back, that part of your video is more or less edited in camera because you're working with those clips, you know the sequence of them, as opposed to going in and shooting like 500 gigs of footage and then you're spending like 3 days getting them off an SD card and you're just struggling on why is there this stream in the middle of my footage? I don't need it for anything. So keep that in mind as well. It does speed up the process and it does help you kind of think about your story a little bit more and just kind of makes you a bit more efficient, as it were. Let me know when you come. I'm in Fort Worth. Awesome. Fort Worth. We had an Uber driver from Fort Worth who drove us from Dallas to Stockyards in Fort Worth. And the dude was probably one of the highlights actually of the trip to Texas. Just one of the highlights, from showing us the gun he carried to this dude I'm pretty sure was going to bring us to his house for dinner. He was so nice. And that whole rodeo experience is one of the best things I've ever experienced in my life. Just peep at, oh, I want to go right now. Ah, man. There's a video actually I made on that whole thing about Texas. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Let me dig it out, and I'm going to throw it in here to the chat box. And all of this, by the way, was shot, with some exceptions which were shot in the GH5, was all shot on my poor dead, rest in peace, Osmo Pocket. All right, that's the Texas one. Okay. Next question. I think I've been making YouTube videos for 2 years now and have 145 subs and a couple of thousand views. What am I doing wrong, says Liam. I don't know, Liam. It could be lots of things. So a few of the things that YouTube looks for, and every YouTube guru says this, and obviously they're all saying it. I'm even saying it. I know it works because I've seen it work. Take a look at your analytics, number one. See what your click-through rate is like, your impressions, your reach, and take a look at your watch time. See how long people are watching your videos. So if you've got like a 1%, like a really low click-through rate, that means your thumbnails are crap. Sorry. And nobody's clicking on the thumbnails because they're not enticing enough. So you could have the best video in the world, but if the thumbnail isn't like a little bit clickbaity and just like makes you want to go, I want to top that, then nobody's going to see the most amazing video in the world. It's just the way it is. Watch time, if your video is like, if you have a 5-minute video and people are dropping off after 20-30 seconds, do you have an intro that's 20-30 seconds? Then it's time to cut that intro in half. Maybe it's time to remove the intro. Is there something you're doing in your video where it drops off? And you can see this in the analytics very, very clearly on the watch time and the retention, where let's say you started swearing and then boom, just the watch time falls off. Maybe that's what you should go, okay, people are dropping off for the last 4 videos around the same point. As soon as I start swearing, maybe I'll stop swearing in my videos. Plus, swearing in a video, the YouTube algorithm pushes it way down. So the algorithm is it's an issue. Well, it's not an issue, but everything is in those analytics that can help you make a better video. And obviously you need a little bit of luck and the time you publish, but that's what I would look at. If you're getting nowhere fast, and then is the content that you're making, is it, number one, you need a niche. To get anywhere, you need a niche. I never really got anywhere here until I started kind of going into stuff that was a lot more natural for me. That's filmmaking, camera gear, tech stuff. That's where the wheel started spinning. If I go back a little bit further, Star Wars, that's another story. Ultimately, you need something that's searchable. So are people searching the day you went to the store? Maybe they're not. If you have like millions of subscribers, you can get away with titles like that because YouTube has more people to push it out to. But yeah, maybe you're making content that nobody wants to watch. But here's the thing. Here's the important thing. You don't have to treat it like a business. You don't have to, you can do it for a hobby. If you're happy making content, that's it. If it makes you happy, then who cares about the views? Who cares about the subs? Simple. You know, if you want to get better at it, then you gotta put in the work, essentially, right? Like anything. Um, so hopefully that helps, Liam. I don't know if it has or not. Let me know. So if you got a question, you want to comment, you want an opinion, you want to get involved in the conversation, then jump into the YouTube chat box right now, and we'll get to those real quick. Still going to talk about the pro camera making, will it make you a better content creator? Okay. Eddie, what was your gear when you first started vlogging? So I started vlogging in 2006 for a while, and back then it was this old, well, it wasn't old, it was one of the Sony DSC models. I think it shot in 640 by 480. It was absolutely awful quality. If you go back through some of my, even the Who Am I video, which is the trailer for the channel, you'll see how bad some of that footage looked. But then when I kind of took it seriously again and started, it was Canon 600D. And then, yeah, that was fine for a while. Then moved to Sony RX100 Mark V, which is still an amazing camera, Osmo Pocket, GoPro 7, and now it's the iPhone 11 Pro, believe it or not. It's over there, the Sony A6600 and a GoPro Hero 8. But 9 times out of 10, okay, so I'm going to send the audio dropped off. Let me turn up the levels again. I'm going to blow people's heads off. 9 times out of 10, I seem to use the iPhone. So for talking head stuff, or tutorials and stuff like that, it's the A6600, because it works well in this studio setup. If I'm out and about, iPhone. It's just so easy. Went to Amsterdam, just iPhone. 2, 3, 4 days, iPhone. What was yours, Eddie? What did you start with? Is it GoPro Hero 4? Is it something else? JD Strobist. G'day, Vic. You got sunglasses on, a smiley. You're saying g'day. It's summertime in Australia, isn't it? Kinda. Down under, right? Have we really kind of transpired across the globe from Birmingham to Kildare to maybe Australia to Malaysia to Texas? Word to the not speaking of Texas. Time to pick up the kiddo from school. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for dropping by. Because a lot of the audience that I have is in the States. I just wonder, are these live streams better served at other times? I'm not sure if they are or not. That's why I always kind of ask where people are on a stream. Australia. What part of Australia? Awesome. It's insane. It just blows my mind that we have people in Australia watching this right now. So that's what I'm always trying to gear, because there's no point me doing a live stream when there's nobody awake or everybody's at work, kind of thing. So yeah. All right. My name is Vic, for anybody that's new. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, now would probably be a really good time for you to subscribe and hit the like button there as well. It's down there somewhere. Because we do all things kind of creative and tech. Melbourne, okay, awesome. For me, like, I work in the real world as a editor and creative video director, so we do all things tech here, and cameras and editing and just how to help you make better content. So if you think some of that might be beneficial to you, please consider hitting subscribe. Hero 4 is the first one for you, Eddie. Awesome. GoPros are beasts. GoPros are absolute beasts. Vic, I've been following you recently on Instagram. What settings did you use for those photos in Amsterdam? Says Hans, Germany, maybe, I'm guessing. Okay. So those photos were shot with the iPhone 11 Pro using night mode. I'm actually kind of amazed how well they came out. What settings did I use? They were auto. I'll try and use auto when you're hanging off the back of a canal cruiser. But Yeah, they were edited in Adobe Lightroom CC, the mobile version, which is you can get for free, by the way. That's what they were edited in. So the edit that was involved in all of those was clarity, a little bit of dehazing, moving some of the colors around. That's it. Shadows, highlights, exposure slightly in some of them. Yeah, that was it. That was absolutely it. Eddie's also vlogging sometimes on the iPhone 6s. Awesome camera, iPhone 6s. What's everybody shooting on, by the way? Out of curiosity, what's everybody shooting with? Who's watching the stream right now? What's your go-to? Is it a phone? Is it a webcam? Is it a DSLR? Is it a mirrorless camera? Just throw it into the comments. It'd be interesting to see what everybody's shooting with. JD blown up. JD is JD, right? Blown away with your iPhone video quality in Amsterdam. Yeah, so the iPhone works so incredibly well in a well-lit condition. It's mind-blowing how good it is. And you've got the kind of the three lenses. So they're not going to be as good as something that, you know, that you're buying a dedicated lens for, a 20mm or whatever. But man, it blows my mind every single time. I bought that phone when I was in the States October, and I didn't really didn't get a chance to use it until, we went down to the Brooklyn Bridge. I said, I'm going to just shoot some video here to see how it looks. And even just looking back in the phone, I was like going, this looks really, really good. And then when I put it on the computer a couple of hours later, I'm like, okay, it's amazing how good it is. The stabilization that is in it is just phenomenal. The one downside of the iPhone 11 Pro is when it comes to audio, or not audio rather. Audio is okay, it's decent enough. But when it comes to low light, it absolutely and utterly just falls apart. It's disappointing. I've got a couple of dedicated iPhone 11 Pro vlog style videos which are kind of testing the camera. You can see stuff in New York at night and stuff, and it's not great. It's bad, to be honest. It's full of noise. It loses a lot of detail. But that said, if you're clever enough when you're shooting stuff, then it's just amazing. It is just an amazing camera. Sure, you're not going to get a whole lot of depth of field and stuff, but it's just amazing. It's just absolutely amazing as a piece of kit for making videos when you're out and about. It's insane. And couple it up with something like the Osmo Mobile 3, which I have serious problems with at times, including the telephoto lens doesn't track at all with the Mimo app. But if you use the stock Apple app, because I've been reading lately that apparently the SDK, so the developer kit that Apple released for the camera and that allows Filmic Pro or all the other apps to utilize the iPhone camera, they don't get the full thing. So like there's still a little bit of secret sauce left in using the stock Apple app. Apparently it's the one you should use all the time. Haven't really compared and contrasted between, we'll say, that and Filmic Pro, but I gotta do that. That would be an interesting video. See, is there any noticeable difference? But with YouTube compression, people are like, what do you want about? There's nothing there, man. It's I don't see anything. Which is probably very true. Anyway, have I replaced your Osmo Pocket? No, I haven't. I was going to sell it for parts, but no. I have replaced it. Not with another Osmo Pocket, but with this, which is the Sony A6600, a little bit more expensive than the Osmo Pocket, but yeah, that's what I replaced it with, because I just for a long time I just wanted to go back to an interchangeable lens camera, and I was like, okay, you're going to buy an Osmo, just get the camera in the end. McAvoy Production, has anyone asked you to edit a movie or music video? I've done a couple of different bits for people, alright, but a movie or no. I would love to take apart some movies and re-edit them start to finish, but anyway. JD, I'm using the GoPro Hero 7 at the moment and a Sony A6400. That's like an amazing combo. The GoPro Hero 7, like the stabilization in that is incredibly good. It's an amazing camera. It was something that I vlogged with for quite a bit actually when I got it first. It was just so good. It's faultless. Still have it. Sony a6400, awesome. Just an awesome camera. I think I remember you, JD. Did you drop some comments on the blog relatively recently? I think you might have. Similar to the GoPro Hero 7, becomes very painterly in low light. Yeah, it's to do with the sensor size essentially. I can't see Apple making a bigger sensor for the phone because it's going to take up too much space. So unless they use some algorithms to try and pull some more out of it, but you know, like the night mode, for example, I think on some of the Pixel phones there's a relative kind of a video night mode. I might be wrong on that. Unless they do something like that, but that's the only caveat. That's the only downside to the iPhone 11 Pro, or the whole iPhone range, is just low light. But with any camera that's small, the sensor size is small. It's round peg square hole. There's only so much light it can suck in. You know, even if they put in a faster lens there, it might help. But I think they're down to 1.8 aperture on the wide lens. Can they go down to 1.4? Maybe, but I don't know what else they're going to do. But Sony a6400, amazing camera. I toyed with the idea of that for ages and ages and ages, and I don't even really think the stabilization, I know there's no stabilization in it, but I don't think the stabilization that's in the a6600 is any good either, to be honest. I've spent most of mine on, it's just locked in a tripod, to be honest. I haven't really taken it out and about at all yet, as it were. Eddie, do you have a story chart when vlogging? So I do kind of storyboard stuff where I would have a shot list, so I would have an idea where I'm going, and you would come up with your shot list. So I need this shot, that shot, the top down shot, on the ground shot, doing a somersault through a tree shot, and it does help. And the more you do that, and the more you become aware of what kind of shots you need, then the better you get at becoming a content creator, because you're going to be in scenarios that you will just arrive and you go, okay, I never intended on being here in this particular spot, or it's completely new to you and you have a couple of shots in your head. But once you get to see a place, you can go, okay, you can instantly come up with a shot list. I need this, and this, and this. But that only comes with practice of creating the shot list and knowing the story that you're trying to tell. So a lot of the testimonials that I've shot with Teamwork, you know, we've done stuff like Special Olympics, we've done stuff like the Dario, which is the largest musical instrument accessory manufacturer in the world. We've done agencies like Idea Planet who do all amazing, incredible stuff. We've done Ella's Kitchen, which is a huge baby brand here in the UK and Ireland. So I don't have access to any of these places before I go. We might see some stuff online, or they might send some pictures, but we'll do a recce when we get there. And because you're doing shot lists all the time, you know, I need this, and this, and this, and this. And generally do a recce, come up with a shot list, and then during the talking head part, the interview side of the testimonial, they may say something that you go, okay, I don't have that shot, because you didn't know it, but you passed it. So all the time. And it's a lot of the time filmmaking or content creation is about thinking on your feet as well. You can't account for every single thing that you're going to do. Obviously Hollywood does, because it's millions and millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars. But just for vlogging and stuff like that, or even some of the stuff that I do professionally that you don't have access to a place until you physically get there, getting the good practice for shot lists, because it helps you hugely. And don't overshoot stuff. Shoot what you need and maybe one or two extra, but you're shooting for the edit all the time. So then when it comes to putting together the story, you know. Now that said, you need to know your story backwards, because if you're editing your own stuff as well, you don't want to be in a scenario where you're like, oh man, I wish I had another 10 minutes of this particular shot. So keep that in mind as well. So know your story. Shot list. Honestly, shot list, it's such a huge help, because it takes the pressure off. If that makes sense. Okay, going to be talking about pro cameras and doesn't make you a better creator. Red cameras and Panasonic S1H and all these kind of like big serious camera. Sure, that's going to make you a better creator, or is it? We'll get to that. And any of the rest of your questions in the chat box as well. Stick it in. Best movie you've seen so far in 2020? No. Nope. Nothing really, sorry. I kind of fell out of love with movies a bit. Haven't watched anything. The thing I'm watching at the moment is on Netflix, which is Drive to Survive, the Formula One show. I think it's incredible, absolutely phenomenal. I try and spare it because we binged the last season in like 3 or 4 nights. This time around I'm just like maybe one every couple of nights. So no movie. Anyone, any recommendations, let me know. Vic, I heard you did a talk about content creation for some folks recently. Where did you hear that? Can you talk through what was in it, and will you do another one? Yes, I will do another one. So I did a kind of a content creation talk as like, with a bunch of people in a kind of a, I don't know, like a presentation setting recently. And essentially what it was there was a couple of things that I covered. It was stuff like what you can and can't get away with when it comes to making videos. Then there was a section on making actual videos. Then there was stuff about audience and community. Then there was analytics. And then there was a big, long Q&A as well. Kind of similar to what we do here. Some really good feedback from it. And yeah, so that's what kind of was in it. So to give you an example on the making videos section, some of the points that I would have touched on was the site and the location. I'm actually looking at the presentation here. I'm not ignoring anybody. Site and location, camera, light, audio setup, relevancy, niche, story, structure, and planning. Know what you're going to say. Tell the story, shoot for the editing, music selection, keep it interesting, 9-second rule, pacing, B-roll, 9-second rule. Of course, the scene changes every 9 seconds. The next time you're looking at a Hollywood movie, count how many seconds it is before the scene changes, whether that's just crop in or what. It's to keep the pacing going. And the other thing is, if you think you should reshoot something, reshoot it. So that was kind of some of the bullet points from that. And stuff like what you can't get away with. You can't get away with bad audio. You can't get away with bad framing. You can't get away with stuff out of focus, dead air, waffle, not locking the camera. So, putting it on a tripod possibly, making assumptions, bad lighting. Why there is no excuse, because if it's live, people are like, okay, so live isn't going to be an amazing audio video experience. It's okay. But if you're uploading something to YouTube, you have so many options and so many minutes before you press publish. In fact, you don't have to press publish. So if you have a piece of crap video that's gone up, there's no excuse for putting that live. That's you don't care. So that was the kind of stuff I covered. Maybe I should expand some of that into the channel here. Might be interesting for you guys. Let me know in the comments and on the chat here, and I'll get into it. JD, have you got any more travel vlogs lined up at all? Vic, do you edit on the road or wait until you return home, says JD. Travel vlogs. So there's on the channel, JD, there's you probably found it, I don't know. There's a dedicated travel playlist. If you haven't, I'm gonna find it and have some. See, don't leave dead air. Don't leave dead air. So there's 65 videos in this particular playlist. Oh God. I think this is, yeah, I think I can copy and paste this in. Let me paste this in. There you go. Do I edit on the road or wait until you return home? So the Amsterdam stuff, I waited until I came home. When we, on that travel playlist, there's some stuff that we went to Spain and Marbella. Much to the non-impressiveness of my wife, I edited all of those videos on the road every night. I sat in her apartment like 1 or 2 a.m. when everybody was gone to bed and just edited it. So when I went to Amsterdam, I was bringing the laptop all excited, and she was like, why are you bringing the laptop? Are you going to sit in the hotel at night editing videos? And I'm like, ugh. And she was kind of right. I needed to switch off. I'm really bad at switching off, by the way. So that Marbella thing, like, I think we got 3 or 4 videos out of that whole trip. I was even editing them on the plane coming home. Yeah, I don't feel too good about that. So generally, depending on what it is, so if it was something that was very time specific, so let's say you're at something like the NAB show or whatever, there's no point coming home a week later and putting content up then. It needs to go there. But if it's a travel vlog, it's probably not that time specific, and it doesn't have to be there on the day. So hopefully that makes sense, right? Eddie, I guess a vlogger gets better as she's making more and more vids. 100%. Every video you make, you don't have to publish, but every video you make, you should look to improve on something. Learn when to cut. Learn when there's too much waffle. Learn when you're going off in a tangent. Learn when the story is struggling. If you're doing a talking head thing about topic A, if you start wandering into topic B, C, D, and E, and then eventually come back around to topic A, like, people are going to go. So pick something, focus on it, get good at it, and keep doing it. It's you know, if you make little improvements in every video, in 6 months or a year, those little improvements will be gone from there they will be gone absolutely huge, because, you know, little changes all the time. So the more you do it, the better you get. After years of editing videos, if you don't get any better, then maybe it's not for you, and that's okay too. It's not for everybody. But I would suggest that if it becomes a chore, if you hate doing it, if it's making you stressed out, if it's making you sad, then it's not worth it ultimately. Whatever do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's not worth it. Okay, where am I going next? Most annoying thing about YouTube for you personally, says Ash. I don't know. I can't. The one thing that bothers me to a point is that if I look at my analytics, even though there's nearly 6,000 subscribers here, only like 553 of them have notifications turned on. That's the bell, by the way. So if you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell, then you get notified when the new video is there. So when I put up a new video, I've got a very limited subscriber base to send it out to. So hit the subscribe or hit the notification bell, get on all notifications, if you wouldn't mind. Where do you usually do your thinking? What topic to vlog? Says, I don't like lock myself into the room and go, I'm going to do this. Stuff will come to me in the car, stuff that I might see, get inspired from. I do a lot of time. I would spend a bit of time, not a lot, but enough time on keyword research. So if I'm going to put a title of a video, I'll just start with the title and the thumbnail idea in your head. I'll see how the title will work out, whether that's using TubeBuddy or whether that's using Morning Fame, which is something I've gone back into recently, just to get traction on a video. So it could come at any time from anywhere. Or what I normally do is, again, I use Teamwork Projects. I have and there's a video that explains what my exact workflow, and I'm going to stick that into the chat box here as well, because it might be useful for you guys, or it might not. But again, it's called preparation. So this video explains exactly what I do. So I will have a list of videos that I will make, and they're all inside in this piece of software that I use, and I work with the company every day. It's my real job, Teamwork. So that's what I do, and that keeps me organized. So if there is times where you're like, okay, normally I'll try and do videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, whatever, I'm like, okay, I've got nothing. Okay, so I have a bank of videos that I can always make that are relevant, and I'll have the right title, and I'll have that research done when I put in that task to create it. So that video will show you exactly how that works. Okay. Okay, so Pro Camera, does it make you a better content creator? Right, let's get to the meat of this, and I would really like to hear what people think about this. So when we say a Pro Camera, I suppose to identify a Pro Camera, we're talking stuff like RED cameras or professional cameras. Stuff like the Panasonic S1H, RELXs, these kind of big cameras. A lot of YouTubers shoot with a RED camera, by the way. But then if we want to go down a little bit more, we're talking kind of high-end as well, prosumer stuff like the Panasonic GH5, Sony A7 III, to a lesser degree the Sony A6600. So does a pro style camera, or I'll put it another way, does a really expensive camera make you a better content creator? Straight away, the answer is no. For a couple of reasons, all right? JD's in there, no. Absolutely. 100% no, it doesn't. The camera is the tool that allows you to tell your story. Cinematic shots, a cinematic vlog is not about slow-moving pans and one or two crazy transitions. A cinematic vlog is about having a really good story. So if you go away and you spend $20, $30, $40, $50, $60,000 on a high-end camera, and if you can't tell a basic story, that's not going to make your content better. If you know the camera backwards and inside and out, then it will make your content look a little bit better. Whether you can do what you want with the camera, whether you have the vision to create some amazing shots with a high-end camera is the next thing. And that doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to spend 20 grand. You can spend $2,000 on you know, a relatively high-end camera that will be the standard for a lot of YouTubers and content creationists. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You know, it's the story. Is it engaging? Is there a little bit of personality there? Is it captivating? Does it move well? Does it, you know, evoke some kind of emotional response? You don't have to be in floods of tears. You can be just like, oh, that was kind of cool. Or like, oh, you know, there has to be a payoff. There has to be some kind of reaction where it helps you on your day. It takes you away from the, you know, the humdrum of everyday life. It makes you smile. It makes you, oh, that was kind of cute. It makes you do something. And that's what makes you a better creator, not a high-end camera. I use a high-end camera on a regular basis. It's a Panasonic S1H. It's the only mirrorless camera that's approved by Netflix to shoot a documentary or film on. So, for example, if me and you in the morning said we've got this really good idea for Netflix, we're going to make this whole brand new series, 10 episodes, 15 seasons, and if we're not shooting it on Netflix approved gear, then they will never even look at it. So this Panasonic S1H, it's a fairly expensive camera. I use that on a regular basis, and I use a Panasonic GH5, and this is professionally, as a B cam. Does that help me make better content? No. Yeah, I've got better depth of field. The bokeh blurry backgrounds are a little bit better, but does it help me make better content? No. It looks a little bit better, but unless the story is in there 100%, whether it's a testimonial, whether it's a brand piece, you know, whether it's a thought leadership, it doesn't matter. You know, unless the content, the core of it, the story, what's it about, what reactions that it can pull out of an audience, what does it make them think about? Does it make them think, okay, this company is, yeah, I like these guys, maybe I'll give them some money. It has to have some reaction, and the camera doesn't do that. I'm the clown behind the camera, so I'm pressing record, but if I can't guide what I'm recording, there's no point. You know, so keep that in mind hugely. Some people can't drive around a roundabout. Some people can't drive in a straight line. So it's the car is allowing them to drive. They're not allowing the car to drive. I'm mad for analogies, by the way. If that makes sense. I think that's a pretty good analogy. So the camera allows you some scope, not the other way around. So you're driving the camera. Camera isn't driving you. Doesn't matter how expensive it is. For me, it's the story that makes a person a good content creator, and the editing, and also how the person engage with the audience, in my honest opinion, says Eddie. 100%. Story, absolutely. And particularly in the YouTube space, I think people have to be somewhat endearing or engaging in some capacity. Don't get me wrong, but there are some people out there who make videos and it's just like, and they're mumbling and they're shy and and that's okay too. But people are giving you 20 seconds of their time to make an impression, and then they might give you 5 minutes or 10 minutes to a complete stranger on the internet. Like, you guys are good enough to do that, and that's a part of it. But content is key. Story. A long story short, great book, on telling stories and how to write better stories. JD, I've got that covered, Vic. I got about 10 views in my last YouTube video. Take a look at the thumbnail. Take a look at on the click-through rate. Take a look at you probably know this, JD, on the watch time. Is it low? Is it up? Is it down? Is the title in the description? Are you helping the algorithm? So, like, a lot of people will look at high-end content creators who, like, I don't know, I always go back to Peter McKinnon because he's such a good dude, but, like, his titles and descriptions at his level at this stage, they don't need to be great. People will watch. He's got, like, 4.5, 5 million subs. And a lot of high-end content creators will just have affiliate links and nothing in the description. That's fine for them. It's not fine for smaller guys like me and you. You got to get in a good description and a good title. Can't blame the GoPro. No, you can't blame the camera. It's like, a good workman never blames their tools. There you go. That's the analogy. A good workman never blames their tools, as it were. Does that make sense? I think it does. Right? I think it does. But there's a big thing, and that's knowledge. And you should never stop learning. If you're anyway passionate about something, or you find something that you like doing, then just learn. You don't have to go and buy books. You don't have to go and buy courses, even though some of them are really, really good. You just have to find that stuff. You just have to search in Google, search in YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. I learned the basics of Adobe Premiere years ago from YouTube videos. After Effects from YouTube videos. That's it. And it's like, paying it forward now, teaching you guys some of the stuff that I've learned. So you should never stop learning. It's not just going to come to you. You're not just going to wake up one morning and know how to make a better story or how to make a better edit or what music you should. It comes with practice and doing the reps and learning. I'll always try and find at least 30 minutes, or I'll try and find one video every night to watch that's going to teach me something, and sometimes the best thing is to put yourself out of your comfort zone. Go, okay, I need to make this logo out of particles. I have no idea how to do it, but you know what? I'm just going to have a go. I'm going to find some particle tutorials on After Effects on YouTube, and then I'm going to get in there and I'm going to follow those step by step, and I'm going to see what happens. And then boom, you've learned something, or you've got the basis of learning something. And you know what? Sometimes I'd be conscious of working too much, or just I try and I do give the kids time every night before I go off and do something else. My wife is probably divorcing me as we speak, so I do get conscious about trying to do too much, and it is good to switch off. Unfortunately, that's the other side of it. You can get really, I guess, if you're passionate about something, but I do find it impossible to switch off. I don't know whether it's some form of ADHD. Dr. Google is probably diagnosing me, but I find, like, if I'm sitting down in front of the TV for an hour or two, it's like I'm twitching to do something or make something or think about doing something or think of an idea, or and that's bad at the same time, because I don't switch off. We went to Amsterdam for a couple of days. It was the first time myself and Jerry, who's my wife, have been on a plane since her honeymoon without kids. All right. and we made the decision to go away without the kids. First time in 11 years we were away without the kids. And I had a camera phone in my hand for most of those 3-4 days, or constantly thinking about shots, or arriving somewhere and going, this angle, this angle, this angle, this angle, you know. And my wife just standing there, you know, going, when is this going to end? And I was like, will you take the photographs for the thumbnail? So there's a point, I'm trying to get better at it, and I'm saying trying to get better at it. I'm probably offering lip service to people. I'm probably not going to get better at switching off. Don't get me wrong, I like the weekends. I do start, you know, not picking up the camera straight away anymore of a weekend. I do try and put together content here relatively late-ish at night, so everybody has got some time, like family first all the time. I will drop a camera and drop a video for my kids no matter when. You know, there's been times like, oh, you're not picking up the camera again, and down it goes, you know. So that's the other side of it as well. It is a grind. It is a constant grind. I'm in front of Premiere and After Effects all day today from 9 a.m. to like 5:15. And here I am again. But I love it. That's you gotta love it, and that's why it's kind of not for everybody. But you have to try and find the balance. You have, even if it's an hour, you know. And I really have to get better at making me time. I don't at all. Like for years when I was working in commercial radio, it was radio. Then I set up the moviebit.com, which is a movie website, an award-winning movie website. That's gone now, but it's still online, but I don't do anything with it anymore. And it was that. It was always something. I've never been the one to just sit down and veg out in front of the TV night after night after night after night. But I got to get better at it. And, I guess it's the YouTuber burnout syndrome kind of thing that everybody saw. I think I suffered from it a while back. I think I got another dose of it there coming up around Christmas time. And that's okay. It's okay to fail. It's really okay to fail, because if you don't fail, you don't learn. So I think that's hugely important. Even the more I'm thinking about it now, I'm going like, you're a really bad husband. But it's all, you know, to make some kind of impact. And I don't know, make the world a better place. But yeah, so that's it. I don't know, does people understand that? People say, will you ever stop making videos? I guess one day I will, but I won't know when that day is, because I'd be dead. I just have been making videos since I've been a kid. I genuinely enjoy doing it. I enjoy the creative process. You know, don't get me wrong, it can be disheartening when you put your heart and soul into a video and there's like 50 views or 100 views for weeks, you know, and that's it. And that video dies because of the algorithm. You're like, that would have been so beneficial to more people. But then you think, did I do the thumbnail right? Did I have a good title? Did I have a good description? Was I trying to rank for a keyword that I never had a chance to rank for, because I'd need 10,000 subscribers before I'd get any traction on it versus 6? These kind of things, you know. Eddie says, thank you, Vic, for making time for newbies like us all. Hey, man, everybody was a newbie. I was a newbie. Everybody was a newbie. Thanks for sharing the knowledge. Yeah, look, 100%. That's what I'm trying to do, you know, and sometimes it can be hard to figure out what piece of knowledge to put out there or what video to make. But, like, for me, it's not like, I'm not going to tell anybody that because that's my secret. Like, if I'm giving away, I don't have secrets. I'll give you what I learned, and if that helps you, great. I don't care if you get more views than me. If it helped you out, great, you know. I guess family plays an important part as becoming a vlogger, it says Eddie. It does, you know. My kids have gone from being in all the vlogs to being in very little videos. I don't think they care what now and again, like, you haven't made a video with us in ages. But family is important. You don't have to have kids, you know, your own family. The M1, big fan of Peter McKinnon, but if he posted a pic of a cup, let's say against my pic or yours, mine could be the best cup pic ever. Thoughts? The M1, let me see, can I figure this out? If he posted a pic of a cup, let's say against my pick or yours, mine could be the best cup pick ever. Are we talking here in one about like his subscriber base or follower base versus yours? So let's say he'd like 1 million on Instagram and you would like 100. More people are going to see his cup pick, even though yours is the best cup pick ever. Is that what you're getting at? Can you come back and elaborate on that a little bit? I think that's what you're saying. I might be wrong though. I love Pete. I love his stuff. Genuinely, he's one of the better storytellers on YouTube. I've met him a couple of times. I've hung out with him once or twice when he was in Belfast. Really, such a nice dude. Like, that's a real Irish thing. Dude, like the Irish like thing at the end. So let me know. Elaborate on that if you can. I'm not sure what you're saying. I think it's on the numbers thing. So it's on the numbers thing. Yeah, that's the thing. Then, if yours is the best pick ever, what do you do in that scenario? Do you if it's on Instagram, do you look at your hashtags? Are you tagging people? Maybe you should tag him in it. Hey Pete, I love your cup pick, but my one is better. Do you do it that way? If it's on YouTube, do you, again, it goes back to click-through rates and thumbnails and shareability. It unfortunately, it's not good enough to make something good anymore. You have to be constantly thinking about algorithms and sharing and when you posted it, how you posted it. And some people master that very quickly. I still struggle with it a lot of the time. And that's kind of the way it is. But if it is good enough, I think you do have to have some little bit of hope that people will go, this is the best cup picture I've ever seen. I need to post this in Imager. I need to post this on Reddit. I need to repost this everywhere. This is amazing. And I think you have to have a little bit of hope in that. And I guess probably for me, an example of that video-wise, because I don't play the Instagram algorithm thing at all, don't really concentrate on hashtags, any of that kind of stuff. I just post up content and I'll throw a few hashtags in now and again. Every now and then, though, I will go all in on something and spend a lot of time in it, but I'm like, I just like putting pictures up there. But the thing for me was I made a Star Wars video, and it's what brought this channel up. And it was about The Last Jedi. I made 2 videos about it, one when the Blu-ray came out and one when the movie came out. And I just spoke. There was no keywords. I just typed in a title I thought was okay, and The Last Jedi would have turned up as a keyword or two in the description. And that's what I did, but I spoke very honestly. And the video blew up. I think it was like 175,000 views. It just, every night, every morning before I went into the office, I replied to every single comment. And that kind of gave me faith that, okay, I wasn't playing the algorithm. I jumped on something that I felt passionate about, and it resonated with people. And like, that blew me away. That people were sharing this and people were watching it for and it wasn't a short video, it was like 15-20 minutes. People were watching this for a long time, and it really resonated. And that gave me, in the same thing, that if something is good enough, I don't even think it was good enough, it was just me talking to the camera, but it resonated. And I had a huge difficulty, maybe imposter syndrome, but a huge difficulty accepting all of those views. I was like, this is insane. First it was 1,000, then it was 5,000, and 10, and 25. I'm like, okay, when is this going to stop? And it still spins views today, even though I don't do anything about Star Wars really anymore. And that kind of thing eventually gave me hope. And there was somebody said to me that they came for Star Wars, but they stayed for you. And it took a while for me to figure that out. In the sense that I think it was like, I couldn't kind of believe that, but it worked, So I felt people felt I was very authentic in that video. So if something is good enough or resonates enough, then have a little bit of faith and put some positive energy out there. Does that make sense? So I understand how that happens. And don't get me wrong, I've made a bunch of videos on here that I think are technically accomplished. I think the story is good in them. I think they're really good, but they're like 700-800 views. And I feel they should be a ton more. But thumbnail was not good enough. Title and description could have done a better job. So it comes down to that as well, you know. Does that make sense? David O'Farrell, hey Vic, Wexford man here. What's going on? You got that new bridge done in Wexford recently. Is it any good? When I say it's any good, should I drive from Cork to drive across that new bridge? Is it worth driving, Dave? Is it epic? Will it make for some good content? Great channel. I found your channel from the Beast from the East video a couple of years ago. Fair play, dude. Thank you for sticking around for so long. That Beast from the East took my poor old Mavic Pro drone, but it survived. I haven't flown it since last... I don't think I've flown the drone since last August, September. Sonny, yeah, my man in Kinsale, Sonny Greenwich Jr. What's going on, dude? It was great meeting Peter and your kind self in Belfast. He seemed a little sad to me, as if he was on the verge of burnout himself. That gave me pause. 100%. I think he did kind of take a little, I wouldn't say an extended break, but if you look at the frequency of Peter McKinnon content that's gone up in the last couple of weeks, you know, there's 2-3 videos a week. This guy's killing it again. He's kind of found his mojo again. Feet. I'm not saying he lost it or anything, but everybody does get burned out. And it's important to take breaks. People seem to think that if you have a YouTube schedule of 2 videos a week or 3 videos a week or 1 video a week, that if you take a break for 2 weeks, then the YouTube algorithm is going to go, oh, you ain't taking no break. Where'd you go? No, we're going to push you right down to the end. It doesn't work like that. The YouTube creators channel that they have, the engineers behind the algorithm and all of these kind of folks, they're constantly talking about it, going, no, it's not going to, you know, if you take 2 or 3 weeks off, the algorithm isn't going to forget about you. In fact, if you have any few subscribers, when you come back after 2 or 3 weeks, they're going to be so hungry for a new video from you that it's going to probably be one of your better videos, you know, numbers wise. So that's the other kind of thing. So I think I've done it. I'll do another one. Don't know when. Tomorrow. But you know, it's just kind of one of those things. I love Pete's content. Like, I met Pete when he had he just hit 500,000 subscribers. He was at the first Power video that I was at. That was the second ever Power video in Belfast, and it literally was, I don't know, maybe 12 of us were doing the masterclass, maybe 10, in the Bullet Hotel, in a kind of a tiny, it was a bar, it was a tiny room. They had a few tables set up, so you had some Facebook guy, a local, I can't think of his name, but he was really, really good. You had Zach from Jerry Riggs Everything. You had Milo Sirlevac. I can't even pronounce his second name, but he does all the Red Bull stop motion stuff. You had Philip Bloom. You had Peter McKinnon. You had Devin Graham, Devin Supertramp. And it was just all of us bunched inside in this room. And it was just really, really good. And that was the first time we met Pete. And we talked about that in one of the Power Video videos. But like, I'm in awe of the stuff that these guys can put out, and I think that if you can find somebody that inspires you, don't be the next Peter McKinnon, because you can't be the next Peter McKinnon, but you can be the next you, if that makes sense, right? The Imp One is out of here. Cheers, Vic. Catch you next time. Thank you for your time. I done a drone video of the bridge, so check that out if you wish. Awesome. I drive over the bridge every day because I work in Waterford. The bridge is pretty cool, alright. Worth driving from Cork? Maybe not. You know, I drove to Limerick for an ice cream, so I don't want to worry about that. Sonny, I can't wait to get back to Power Video. It really opened my eyes. Yeah, you know what? We had some folks come from, I think there was a good couple of content creators came from the States to Belfast. and they made the track. Power Video is it's a video conference that's in Belfast for anybody that's wondering. Happens once a year. The first ever one, they had Casey Neistat. They've everybody from Peter McKinnon to the What's Inside crew. Dan and Lincoln have been there a good couple of times. They give you amazing talks, amazing workshops. El Mills was there. Cody Warner is there quite a bit. And it is the best thing that I've done, because besides the fact of learning from people who were at kind of the top, on the way up to the very top of the mountain, they're being around creative people is incredibly infectious. I mean, it's insanely infectious. Being around a bunch of people who are not going to look at you weirdly on the street because you've got a camera up. They're all doing the same thing, and it's, oh man, I cannot wait for this year's Power Video. I've got my tickets already. And yeah, I think just being around creative people is if you don't get the vibe from it and a little bit of inspiration to do more, then it's not for you. But the fact is that you can learn so much in all of these events, and they're all over the world, from VidCon to VidSummit. I know, Sonny, you were at one of them recently, weren't you? Write down the notes, man. Write them down. Write them on your phone. Write them in a notebook and learn. JD, Peter's got his second with Wind. At the end of the day, YouTube is the best resource for creators ever. This is so inspiring. Awesome. But it is. That's the thing. That is the thing about YouTube. I don't watch TV anymore. I've cancelled most of my satellite TV because I don't watch it. What I watch in the evenings is YouTube. Spend an hour with YouTube. But it is the best resource. It is, for no matter what. There was something I was trying to do in After Effects today. Illustrator. I'm not familiar with Illustrator at all. I know the bare minimum to get me around. And within like 1 minute, I'd found what I needed to learn on YouTube, and within like 5 minutes, I was able to do something that I couldn't do before. It's an incredible resource. It's an incredible time suck as well, because the algorithm, the Skynet robots are so good at getting you to stay on the platform and watch more content. I don't know how many weekends I've lost to YouTube. VidSummit. That I knew you were at one. VidSummit is the one versus VidCon. I feel if you're serious about content creation, I think VidSummit, you're probably going to get more out of it at that. When is your next vid, Vic? Probably the weekend or Monday. We'll shoot something probably Saturday, Sunday. Any topic? I have a list of videos to draw from. I have a kind of a fun idea that's kind of having a knock at Peter McKinnon in the best possible way, and a whole bunch of other YouTubers as well. Just something fun. It's not something that's camera filmmaking orientated, but it's something I'm seeing lately. I'm seeing a pattern on it. I think you guys might get a kick out of it. It's just good to change it up every now and again. JD, you've got me so motivated. I'm going to create something and upload it today. Dude, go do it. Just go do it. Nobody watches. Who cares? Doesn't matter. It's just about it's about making that stuff. It's about, it's about the cutting. It's about feeling the music. It's about getting your story out there. It's just about doing it. Because I think everybody here that's doing it is doing it because they want to. Nobody's here doing it for the money. Like, if you get some AdSense, great. If you get some sponsorship stuff, great. It's a bonus. But, it doesn't matter if you're making a video and 10 people watch it. But out of one of those people out of the 10 could be having the worst day ever. And for whatever reason, that one video that you have made has made them smile, has made them think, has just pulled them away from whatever they were going through. For 5 minutes, job done, ultimately, and I think if, Like, there's a great talk from James Cameron, a TED talk. James Cameron, the guy who did Titanic and stuff, and he's a couple of things. One of the big quotes he has is, failure is an option, fear is not. Stands on its own. I think it's a 15-minute TED talk, but he's on about a filmmaker. He's more or less, what he says in this TED talk is, you pick up a camera, press record, you're a filmmaker, just like me, you're just like James Cameron. Difference is, he gets a bit more money than you do, for now, right? Do you work a 9 to 5, Vic, or is your full concentration with YouTube? No, I work a 9 to 5. I work with a company called Teamwork. I'm very grateful for the opportunity, what I do in my day job. I work as a creative video director, so I do all video with a video team. I head up a video team with Teamwork, so we do all brand stuff, tutorial content for software, all that. So my day job is a passion as well, if that makes any sense. I never go, oh, here I am. Don't get me wrong, you're in front of an editor, like I'm in front of a premiere 7 days a week. Sometimes you're like, oh, here we go again. But it's always a challenge, there's always something new, so it's a passion. So it doesn't really feel like work for the best part. Eddie says, passion that drives me. Yeah, man, passion, absolutely. You gotta love something. If you love food, you probably get a kick out of cooking it, right? Man, I'm pumped now. I want to make something. It's dark though. I think I'm going to get back into making videos again. It's been a long time. This is McAvoy Production. Well, do it, man. Do it if you want to do it. Do it if you love to do it. Don't do it because you feel you have to do it. But I think if people are, if you want to just, if it's just to scratch an itch, just make one. Just make one. That's all you got to do. Make one video. And then you're like, oh, that felt good. And then you're like, maybe I'll make another one. Or you go, yeah, I hated this. But just make it. I think people are very kind of, what I struggle with hugely is people who cannot make a decision to save their lives. We can think about stuff and we can procrastinate forever about doing something, and then you never do it, and then something else comes and distracts you, and what you wanted to do you've forgotten about. I'd be very much, okay, let's do this, let's put on the seatbelt and let's drive this like it's stolen, and just do it, and the one thing, if you're passionate about something, it's very easy for that to come true on screen or even in audio. The whole thing, people can hear passion, they can hear a smile. So if you're talking on the phone and you start smiling, then your voice, get what I'm saying, right? That's enough smiling. But it does come true, and it always resonates with people as well. That's the thing, And if you look at, we go back to Peter McKinnon because he's all over this channel tonight, all right, on this chat. If you look at Pete's stuff, like, his energy is really up. Like, the dude isn't going, what's up, everybody, when you meet him. He's but the energy and the passion, you can feel it, you can see it. And that's easy, you can't kind of fake that. Either you're into something or you're not. Like, I worked as a talk show host in commercial radio for 11 years, dealing with politics, celebrities, all kinds of stuff. And people see through BS. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people who are idiots. But the one thing a lot of people have in common is they can smell BS a mile away. They know when you're lying. They know when you're not being authentic. They know when you're doing stuff for the sake of it. And yeah, people will see it and feel it if it's not genuine or if it's false. I feel good after pressing publish, says Eddie. Yeah, man. Publish is the thing. You're like, okay, is this the video? Is this the video that will possibly change your life? Is this the video that will change somebody else's life? Comments on vids. That's the one thing. I don't care if there's 100 views or 10,000 views in a video. The one thing I absolutely love after publishing a video is comments. I love engaging, even with the trolls. I just love engaging, man. It's so good. So good. and it's about building the community. And I do think that, what we have here, me and you, is we've got a really good, solid community. Yeah, it's small, but size doesn't matter when it comes to, it's quality over quantity. That could have went a whole different way there. But that's what's really important to me, is there's community, people help each other out in the comments, and, big thing. What's your next camera to purchase? I'll get one of them big old red cameras. No, like the most recent camera I have is this, and this is the Sony A6600. This is the camera purchase for a while, I would think. I idolize this camera. It's a lot smaller than I thought, but it works incredibly well, and the battery life is really good. So this is the next purchase. I have a whole Amazon wish list for different things for this. Probably one of the things I'm going to pick up really soon is just an external monitor, just because I just like a big monitor to see it. So that's probably the next is accessories, and accessorize that up a little bit. I want to do a better job on the acoustics in this space. I don't know if you've seen the studio tour of this room. It's relatively small, but I'm now finding I'm getting a little bit cramped because I want to try and have 3 different angles that I can shoot from. So I'm going to probably make some changes to this space. And yeah, I don't know. That's probably the next step, is to invest a little bit more in this space. That's kind of treating the acoustics a little bit better here, because I still have problems with reflections. This board thing that I thought was a good idea at the time, I'm going to take that down. Like, there's a projector screen there, and there's a projector there, and it's something I've been hanging on to forever because I was so big into movies, and we were our own little cinema when we ripped out the seats. So that's the next thing to go. And there's a very good sound system. That's the next thing that I'm probably going to shift back into another room. And that's going to kill me to do it, because I just but it's about pushing this stuff on. And literally, one of the most recent videos I made here, I was falling over lights simply because I have a unit there that doesn't really need to be there. Anyway, how do you deal with negative comments? Flyers Photography. What's up, dude? You've been here before. I recognize that name. How do you deal with negative comments? Okay. It's very easy for me to say this is what you need to do with negative comments. So I worked in commercial radio for 11 years, where people absolutely love to take you apart. Whether they text in the radio show, which a lot, or they lambast you publicly in forums or whatever. So I developed a fairly thick skin. Don't get me wrong, there are some comments you're like, oh, man, come on, that's a bit much. But it's easy for me to say this is how you deal with it, because I've got a fairly thick skin for this kind of thing. What I would say with negative comments is, number one, these people have absolutely nothing else, and this was the highlight of their day, to type something negative in to try and tear you down. Number one, the rule is don't feed the trolls. Just block them, remove the comment, and be done with it. I would always look at a negative comment personally, and this is just for me, maybe for some of you guys, I would look at it as an opportunity to turn that person into a subscriber. So I would engage them. If you can't shut them down and turn them in one comment reply, 1 or 2 sentences, then don't. You're only feeding the trolls otherwise. So I've got a video on dealing with that somewhere back along. And then there's another video dealing with hate, where I talk to a psychotherapist and a clinical hypnotherapist for content creators about how some of the tools to deal with trolls and people who have nothing else going on in their lives. So the easiest thing for everybody is just dump it. Just remove, report, block. That's it, and forget about it and move on. However, if you want to not do that, do what I do, and that's engage. There's very few comments I've deleted off the channel. So does that make sense? Like, if anyone's got any other suggestions for Flyers Photography there, or for me even, on good ways to deal with negative comments, that's it. But I would look, if somebody is critiquing you in a way. So obviously Fires Photography, we're talking about photos. If somebody's saying, well, the composition on that is crap, think about it. Do they have a point? Maybe it is. They could have been a little bit more politically correct when they're dropping that comment, right? But could you not go back as an example where somebody's firing a constructive but negative comment at you and go, you know what, actually, you're right. It is kind of, you're right, that's crap. I'll try better the next time. Maybe you should come back and see my next picture. Do you know what I mean? So you can actively fight them, but try and turn them at the same time. So look at the comment and look at it contextually and see what it's saying. Because some people will just go, this is, Hulk smash, right? But have they got a point? And maybe a lot of these people just want acknowledgement of their point. They may not say it in the nicest possible way, but if they've got a point, it's a bitter pill to swallow. But if there's other people going, I wish you should die now, then either block it or engage it. Go, what would you suggest I do? Or I've got a whole bunch of responses that's on an old video, but come back to them and go, oh geez, oh, mommy would be so proud. But that kind of line of defense isn't for everybody. It's what works for me. But if it's not for you, don't try and engage them if you don't want to. Just block, report, gone, hide. Eddie says it'll trigger the algorithm indirectly. Yeah, comments are engagement as well, by the way. JD, you make an amazing motivational coach for sure. Thank you, JD. Never thought of that, but thank you. McAvoy Production, thanks very much, Sonny. Oh, hang on. Sonny and McAvoy are going on it. Let me go back. McAvoy Production made a 1-minute video vlog, and then I made a 59-minute video. That was the last video I made. Okay. Dave, have you ever been to B&H New York? Oh, yeah. It is heaven. 3 floors of camera gear. Absolutely love B&H, and I think the system that they have for buying stuff is a bit demented and crazy and cool, but it's a bit convoluted. But B&H is amazing. I was there back in October, and I don't have it on me, but I bought this tiny, I was like $2 or $3. I bought a case for the new GoPro, like a little bag, and this tiny little thing. I forget the company who it's by, but it attaches onto your key fob. It's a key ring, and it's this kind of waterproof little hood, and inside in this hood is a lens cleaning cloth, and you just pull it out and it's all attached in. It's super useful. But that's where you got it. B&H is amazing. Let me see. I like Rick Beato's ban hammer. He just bans them immediately and laughs. Yeah, that's the other thing. What I've tried to do in the last couple of months in particular is remove as much negativity out of my life as possible. And what I mean by that is I don't want to be around negative people. I don't want to be around people who are moaning and groaning. I'll push them to one side. One of the things I did, and there's probably a video on this, it's not necessarily directed at what I would be doing, but I think people might find it useful, is on Facebook. So when I was on the radio, I left everybody into my Facebook account, just like add as a friend everybody. And every now and again I'd go through where I'd dump 500 or 400 or 1,000, and I'd have a cull, as it were. And it was Liam, who's my coach in SPG. He had this suggestion, which was amazing, and the suggestion was, and it's changed how I view Facebook, is I unfollowed every single person. It took like an hour or two of a Saturday, but I unfollowed every single person, even family, even people who I don't think are idiots. I unfollowed every single one. So all I see now on my Facebook newsfeed is any groups I'm a part of, any pages I've liked. So generally for me, it's camera gear and barbecue. That's all I relatively see now on my Facebook feed. And it has been so good. And the reason I did it is that if you're reading a thread of comments on Facebook, some of your friends are involved or tagged in a post, and it just turns into a moan fest, or just a kind of a negative session, then it's obviously having an impact on you. Okay, so you're not going to be crying or anything, but you're like, that idiot on Facebook, man. I don't see that anymore. So they don't have an impact on me indirectly. My wife came home there a couple of months ago and just was in the foulest of humor. I said, what's wrong? Oh, this person on Facebook said blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, I've heard enough. This is what you need to do. This is what I did. So Facebook, obviously people are comparing themselves to the Instagram-atty and the glitter-atty and all that kind of stuff. And that's fine. But if something you're reading is having a negative impact, get rid of it. And that's what I did. So I've unfollowed all of my friends on Facebook. Most of them would actually, not all of them, but there's still a few people there who probably shouldn't be there, and I'll eventually get around to unfriending them. But this, for me, I actually log onto Facebook and see exactly what I want to see now, because it's just all pages that I've liked or groups that I'm a part of, and there's not too many. And it's the best thing I ever did. So removing negativity is a huge thing, and trolls and comments, remove them is the quickest and easiest way. That's the next thing I'll probably try and get into, but I like engaging. Eddie, I like negative comments. Fair enough. Try to be as nice. Always, it costs nothing to be nice. Will you be making more travel vlogs? Is William from McAvoy Productions. I'm sure the camera will go somewhere. Like in the next week? No. In the next couple of weeks? Probably not. After that? Yes, probably. What's the best external mic for GoPro? What would you recommend for GoPro Hero 4? So with the GoPro Hero 4, you're going to need the mic dongle. Isn't it the mic dongle? Or do you have a mic socket in the GoPro Hero 4? I'm not so familiar with the GoPro Hero 4. Sonny, are you out there still? Maybe you are. If you don't, like, some of the Rode video mics are really, really good. Some of the small ones, they're really, really good. So if you don't need the mic dongle, you can plug it in directly. I think there was a mic socket in the GoPro Hero 4. Some of the Rode ones, you're talking $50 for the Rode Video Micro. Tiny little one. A Saramonic do really good mic. I don't have it here, but I bought it for the A6600. It's the Saramonic SRX1. Tiny mic's like $25. Literally, it's this. That would work as well. So that's what I would be suggesting for GoPro. You don't think you can plug into the 4? Yeah, I think you're right. So if you have to get the mic dongle, either the Rode Video Micro or the Saramonic SRX1, which I have a video about, but you can kind of hear exactly how good or bad it is. Let me see. Let me get a link. But this thing was a must buy. It's like $25, and it's really, really good. There you go, Eddie. That should set you right. I love Rode too, Sonny. I absolutely love it. Using NTG4 in the real world. There's another one there. And I have one or two of the small Rode Video Micros as well. They're really good. I know people hate Rode, but I found their stuff phenomenally good. I've been using the Rode into USB for at least 5 years. Like, using it hard, using it all the time. It's never given an ounce of trouble. So yeah, Rode are great. Rode are really, really good. But you can kit out a really good GoPro rig relatively cheaply. Even take a look at AliExpress about getting a rig. Ulanzi do some great rigs for GoPros. So you need the mic adapter. Yeah, you're going to have to get a rig. I think you can get some rigs that will accommodate the mic adapter as well, because it just hangs off. So take a look at that video, Eddie. The Saramonic SRX M1, $25. Tiny mic, but it's got. Ooh. I use the micro rather than the bigger ones. Yeah, I think because for most people, they're going to be using a GoPro relatively close to their face, so a small cheap mic is going to do the business. If you're, 20 feet away from it, it's not. Then maybe you'd look at something like the Rode Wireless Go as an example, which work really, really good. I know Saramonic do a wireless kit, as do Sennheiser, as do everybody else. I also have the Tascam lapel thing. I was looking at that. Is that any good, Sonny? That's the one that records all in one. That's the all in one. Let me know. What subscriber target were you most excited to hit? Your first 100, 1,000, or 5,000? This is Dave. I think the 1,000. I think the 1,000 was the... Yeah, that was the first one that I was like, oh, we made it to 1,000. And then I think the next one for me will be to see 10,000. I think that will be the next one for me, is to see 10,000. And after that, 25. After that, 50, and then 100. But in the bigger scheme of things, I much prefer to see 10,000 views in the video before I see 10,000 subscribers. But yeah, the 1,000 was a biggie. 500 was a biggie. And 5,000, we kind of looked at it. Oh yeah, 5,000 really cool. We're 50 subs away from 6,000. Awesome to hit 6,000 subscribers. I'm not going to celebrate it in the bigger scheme of things. Mentally, I'd be like, yes. So 10,000 is the next biggie for me. But yeah, 1,000, just 1,000. That was pretty sweet. JD, I forgot you were there. It's GoPro man. I used the GoPro 3.5mm mic adapter and the Rode Wireless Go on the Ulanzi cage. The Ulanzi stuff. Ulanzi contacted me a while ago, and they're like, oh, it's a cheap Chinese make. Their stuff is really, really good. I had a lot of their stuff for the Osmo Pocket. Their macro lens for the Osmo Pocket's insanely good. Their wide angle lens, not so much, but their what did I just say? Their macro lens is amazing. Ulanzi are really good stuff. Like, I have good faith in the brand. The gear that they've made, that I've used anyway around the Osmo Pocket, has been rock solid, man. It's really good. And it's relatively cheap. Obviously, there's a Ulanzi store on AliExpress, but you'll find them on Amazon and elsewhere as well. You sold the Wireless Go, Sonny. Why did you sell the Wireless Go? Just out of curiosity. The 100 was amazing for me. It was just so new and fresh. Yeah, I think on we can all get caught up in subscribers, and I think the benefit of having a large subscriber base is once you press publish, you have more of an immediate audience. So if you have 10,000 subscribers, if YouTube sends it out to 1% of 10,000, that's 1,000. If you have 500 subscribers and it sends it out to 1% of 50 once you press publish, or 1% of 500, that's 50. So it just helps you get traction a little bit quicker. Eddie's on the road to 1,000. Rock and roll, man. Go get it. The Tascam DR10L is the one. It is a secondary recording of safety. Yeah, I've been in one or two scenarios where the audio has just gone belly up and you're like, ugh. I would always, like, professionally in the real world, I would use a wireless lav and I would use a shotgun mic as well. Go live when you hit 10,000. Maybe I'll do one of those videos, where there's a YouTuber and they're like, oh, we're like 500 subs away from 1 million or whatever. And then the thing is, when they go live to do that, their sub count goes down because people don't want to see them hit that number. I've seen it recently from Marquez Brownlee. I think he hit whatever subscriber milestone he hit. And he was literally, I would think, 5 minutes away from it. But it took like ages for him to get over the hump because people were unsubscribing. So his subscriber count went down as opposed to up. So maybe I will, maybe I won't. Yeah. Did I see any good movies lately? No. I talked about that earlier on. Well, you mightn't have been there, but I haven't seen a good movie in a long time. Even Rise of Skywalker was a push. I'm looking forward to seeing it again when it comes out. I think, is it April on Blu-ray? But yeah. No, we will. Maybe for 10,000 we will do a live stream, depending on when it's about to hit 10,000. But we'll do that for fun. Using 3 cameras, it was more of a pain switching around. I mic myself instead of the cameras. Yeah, like with the exception of talking head stuff for me, out and about. Obviously, it's just mic into the camera. But for stuff that I'm doing here, I'm recording the audio separately, and the sync in Premiere is flawless. I used to do it by hand all the time. But the merge clip, or the synchronization and Premiere just works so well. Sonny, you're dropping some subs in there. Good man. That's what it's all about for Eddie. On the road to 1,000. Yeah, man. Go get it. The other thing is, don't get caught on subscriber numbers. Get caught up on how long people are watching the video for. Because the longer they're watching it for, it means that you're making better content at the end of the day. And that's what it's all about. And if you're making better content, that means you're getting better. And if you're getting better, that's got to be more rewarding to you, right? Right? It's got to be. So, I think, unless someone has got anything else in there. Oh, Final Cut Pro, sync is perfect. Yeah, I mean, you gotta do, just leave the software do the heavy lifting. I haven't really done much with Final Cut Pro, but I can appreciate it. It's just I've completely bought into the whole Adobe thing. I guess the one real good advantage Final Cut Pro has is that if you're running off a Mac, well, you can only run it off a MacBook, I guess, really, is that it's optimized to within an inch of its life. Like a 20-year-old MacBook will run Final Cut Pro better than a brand new MacBook will probably run Premiere. Okay, that's a little bit of an extreme example, but Apple have that optimized so much. Final Cut Pro is a beast. Premiere it's just a dog. It's just running on a lot of legacy code that they'll never change, or they can't change. So they're building on top. It needs a whole new build from scratch. But yeah, Final Cut Pro is a beast in the Mac. Absolute beast compared to Premiere. Yeah. But it's just, for me, I'm in that Premiere mode now. I used to edit in Vegas all the time. Then I went to DaVinci Resolve for a bit, but the editor in Resolve wasn't good at the time. Now it is, but I've never kind of switched back. But I went to Resolve for the color correction and color grading more than anything else. And I used to have a round trip workflow with Sony Vegas, as it was called, Sony Vegas then. So cut the footage in Vegas, then jump into Resolve and grade the footage, and then back out into Vegas to run it properly. But Lumetri and Premiere seems to do a pretty good job now. 16-inch, it smokes. Awesome. Yeah, like I have a 15-inch that was just released before the 16-inch came out of nowhere. But yeah, 16-inch is a beast. Is a beast. See, that's the other thing. I don't know if any of you guys have the same disease. I reckon Sonny has it. And that's just buying gear. That's just buying gear or wanting some new stuff. Half of the stuff I bought, I didn't need it. I wanted it. That's the other thing when you're making content. Whatever extra money you have, you just throw it into whatever. If it could be an ND filter, I don't know why I've no real need for an ND filter in Ireland because the weather is so bad. But it's like, I need one, right? No, I don't, but I want one, right? Yeah, just get it. Anyway, yeah. So this has been probably one of the most epic live streams I've done in a while. It's been awesome. We've had people from Malaysia. We have people from Kinsale, Kildare, Texas, Australia, right around the globe, man. We've gone a full 360 tonight or today or this afternoon or this morning, depending on where you're watching right now. It's been an epic live stream. Thank you so much for your time. McAvoy Production, 2 movies that I thought were very good, 1917 and Just Mercy. 1917 I thought technically was good. I thought it was overrated. Sorry. Sonny, I quit smoking and drinking. All that money now goes to gear. Yeah, I don't smoke. I don't really drink. So, yeah, I know that feeling. Maybe if I stop buying gear, what would I do with the money then? I don't want to know. Dave has a long list of gear in your B&H wish list that I'm slowly working my way to. Absolutely. And I guess once you get a wish list together with on B&H, or I do a lot of mine on Amazon, it's like, what do I prioritize first? And sometimes if I'm looking at something for long enough, I'm like, I probably don't need that. And sometimes common sense prevails. I wanted to buy a cage, a smaller cage for the A6600. I didn't buy it yet. It's still in the wish list. I was like, I'm just for the weather right now. Most of the time I'm going to use this camera is going to be inside. It's on a tripod. I don't need a cage. I don't. But then I'm like, if I buy the monitor, will I need to put the monitor on a cage, or will I just do it in the hot shoe? But it'd look better in the cage. You're like, oh, okay. Sometimes common sense does prevail, but if I had unlimited budget or unlimited funds, then Jeff Bezos would be a very happy man. More happier than he is right now, I guess, which is probably a lot. Anyway, okay. I'm gonna. Hang on, Dave. My brother lives in New York, so he brings my stuff home for me when he visits. Pretty good deal. I can't bring enough big suitcases to New York, to be honest. I do think if you go into somewhere like B&H, you're like going, oh man, unless you're going in there specifically, I'm going in there for a lens cap. You walk to where the lens cap are, you buy it, and you walk back out the door. If you start wandering in any of these places, you're in trouble. There's a very small photography store near enough to where I live. It's called Barker Photographic. Any of the Cork heads would know that. I know Sonny would know it. I've gone in there to buy one or two bits for the office, and then I'm like, oh look, there's an Insta360 1X on the shelf. I have no need for that 360 camera. I shouldn't buy it. It's 400 euros. You need a selfie stick, so it's going to be 480 euros. 440. Okay. You've got SD cards, but you probably need another one. I should not buy that. And then I'm in the car with a pair of Rode wireless Go's for the office, and an Insta360 camera for myself that I don't need, which I've subsequently sold, by the way, because I don't know. I like the camera. It was really good. I struggled with some of the quality, but yeah. Anyway, Paddy's a bad man, says Sonny. Hey, man. Yeah, that's where I picked up my A6600. I'm like, I have to get in and out of that shop really quickly, otherwise, I'll be in the divorce courts quicker than I'm heading for anyway. All right, I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Thank you so much for your time this evening. I feel that you've got something out of this at some point. If you haven't hit subscribe on the channel, please consider subscribing, and we will hang out again. We generally do a live stream kind of once a month, maybe twice a month. I'm almost saying I should do more. I never do, but anyway, this is so much fun. This is what makes it all worthwhile for me. This interaction, this conversation, this connection, this community. This is what makes it all worthwhile to hang out with you guys. I genuinely mean that. It just blows my mind. It just blows my mind, and I am incredibly grateful for that. So thank you very much. Hit subscribe if you haven't, and we will see you on this YouTube channel very, very soon. Thank you so much. Don't stop fighting for yourself.